pumpkins. This time, Georgie and I are going to read The House That Sneezed, another one of my favourites, written by David Lenny and illustrated by Peter Kendall. Let's see how long George sticks around for this story. The House That Sneezed. And I adore the illustrations in this one, so I'll be holding them right up so that you can get a really good look. The house at 17 Rosebery Street had always been spotlessly tidy and neat, but the people who kept it so clean for so long had sold it and moved out, and now they were gone. The new people came, and McNees was their name. Their car was a mess and their clothes were the same. They couldn't have cared that the house was so clean, for they left things untidy wherever they'd been. Then they noticed that there was a note with the keys, and the note said, "Beware, do not make this house sneeze." But they laughed when they read what the little note said. "Ha ha," said Mr. and Mrs. McNees. "Now that we've bought it, we'll do what we please. And who ever heard of a house that could sneeze?" Then as soon as the house-moving people were told, they moved in the furniture, mouldy and old. The saucepans were rusted, the cushions were busted, the vases and pictures had never been dusted. Before they had lived there for very much time, the house lost its neatness and cleanness and shine, and although they'd been warned, the family McNees did all sorts of things that might make a house sneeze. The man was a smoker who sat on the sofa, surrounding himself in a cigarette haze. The room got so choked from the ash and the smoke that sometimes he was hidden for days and for days. Their cat carried fleas and deposited hairs on the carpets and curtains and couches and chairs. The dog was a monster with shaggy red fur. He knew where the best spots to gather dust were. He'd cover himself from his tail to his snout, then run through the house just to shake it about. Sam was the girl's name, and so was the boy's. The girl didn't cuddle her cuddly toys. She ripped out their fluff and she bit off their paws and she scattered their stuffing all over the floors. The boy had 10 birds and a little pet mouse. They weren't in a cage. They just roamed round the house. He fed them by throwing their food in the air so the crumbs and the birdseed went everywhere. The mother used powder to cover her face. She puffed it and fluffed it all over the place. And then she used hairspray and arm spray and air spray and fly spray and leg spray and mouth spray and neck spray. All the rust and the dust and the feathers and hairs, all the breadcrumbs and stuffing from teddies and chairs, all the ash and the smoke and the powder and sprays made the house sneezy in terrible ways. The poor little house tried hard not to sneeze, but how could it help it with people like these? It started to shake. The family thought there must be an earthquake. The ceiling was lifted, the beds and the bookcases slided and shifted. The crockery quivered, pictures and ornaments rattled and shivered. "Run," said Mr. and Mrs. McNees. "It looks like the house is going to sneeze." The lights flickered on, the furniture hopped, then all of a sudden, the trembling stopped. But just when they thought they'd been through the worst, it started again, and much worse than at first. They flew through the air and they sailed in the breeze, and they landed in bushes and branches of trees. As they picked themselves out of the bushes and trees, the family of Mr. and Mrs. McNees discussed the note that had come with the keys. But they were sure they'd done nothing to make the house sneeze. Then they gathered their things, and the house-moving men came and collected it all once again. And they moved far away from the house that had sneezed. They were very annoyed. But the house was quite pleased. Can you see how he's smiling? I think Georgie enjoyed that one. That was the house that sneezed. Hope you enjoyed it too. Bye.